Hello everyone, I'm Mike Levin from MikeLevinSEO.com, and this is the video before the tutorial you've all been waiting for. So with all this Python, Py, Git, Vim stuff, what's it really all about? What am I leading up to? Well, at the heart of everything I'm trying to teach really is Python. Everything else is an execution environment, text editor, code safety to make sure that things you can conceive of in a formal machine structured language can run today on a wide array of choice hardware for servers, from clouds to Pis, doesn't matter, and long into the future, so that the things you write in Python today can be serving you 10, 20 years down the line. And I have to choose a project. And the project I'm choosing is very similar to systems I've made in the past. Starting probably around 1997, I started doing generalized systems. But ever since Ruby on Rails came out, frameworks to create relational database applications, like sometimes they call it CRUD applications, is a very solved problem. And I moved on to more ad hoc investigative applications, which I'll show you a previous version here, which just crawls a website into Google Docs. So it's like a bookmarklet, and you click on it while you're looking at the site, and it creates a Google spreadsheet that you can open, and you can either watch the magic take place in the spreadsheet, or you can see the crawl start to actually begin right here and then sort of scroll down along with it as it crawls the site. 3 of 30, 4 of 30, 5 of 30, or we can watch the same thing take place here. And you'll notice on the right hand side there are a bunch of question marks which are going to get filled in. It's doing a 30-page crawl right now. And the things to notice about this last system are that each of these column titles is actually a function. It's filling the output of the function, the result, as it goes, but I could just as easily replace any of these cells with a question mark, and the next time this application ran, it would look up the meta description for the page having this URL. So any of the filled in columns become potential arguments to any function that has a question mark there. So the description function gets fed this URL as the parameter, it fetches the HTML, it looks for the meta description. It's done the 30-page crawl, so I am going to go ahead and click the bookmarklet from inside the spreadsheet, and you're going to see the question mark replacement taking place. So you see page rank of 8 for the BuzzFeed homepage. It's got 24,000 tweets, 917,000 Google +1s, and so on down the line as it fills in the numbers for the 30 pages it picked up in the crawl. Now, by no means do you have to start with the crawl. This is something that can just be done in general. You write a function that has a name and you give it parameters that match up with these columns, and you have an expanded system. This prior version relied on Google Docs. I had hopes of decoupling it, but in the 5 years or so since I created this last system, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I have the next version of this completely envisioned, and walking through it in a free and open source environment on GitHub, decoupling it from Google Spreadsheets and allowing it to be optionally coupled to Google Spreadsheets to provide a user interface, and also optionally coupled to Redis, Amazon S3, Berkeley DB, or any other large big data back-end database that can provide the key value pair storage that this system calls for is the next step and is the tutorial I'll be walking you through. And it can literally be mashed up with any data source accessible online, internet or otherwise accessible. It's going to be an extremely generic, broadly applicable system that will do many of the same things as my old system, like crawling sites into spreadsheets, but everything from the old system is going to be a subset of a much more broad system that you could set on a schedule to do regular monitoring and trending for social media metrics, for SEO, for competitive bidding, anything where you need data collected, worked upon, and staged for a next step in sort of a passing the baton down the line chain of events that you need to occur. So I look forward to walking you through that tutorial. Thanks for joining me. Please consider sharing this video and subscribe.